all the content that Kevin's putting out there. All right, guys, we just spent an hour talking about the Eagles. It had a lot to do with the 49ers as well. But now it's time to move on here on episode number 64 of Stats Over Politics to Garry's team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, that won 16-10 against the Jake Browning-led Bengals. Shout out to Jake Browning from Folsom High School. Even Folsom High School getting a little shine nationally this past week, so that was cool to see for us living here in Sacramento. Anyways, Garry, this is your account, so I'm going to toss it to you first. What did you think about the Steelers getting the 16-10 win? Because they put up 424 offensive yards in the first game without Matt Canada.
To be honest with you, as I mentioned last week, a win's a win. Obviously, it's not versus Joe Burrow, but again, a W in the NFL is a W in the NFL. Obviously, I've been saying it all year so far on my team that you can look at it two ways, that we're barely skating by and we're barely getting W's, or that we're earning these W's and that we should be looking in a positive way. I've been kind of looking at it in a half, to be honest with you guys. As you guys know, some games I'm feeling like, damn, like last game, it just felt horrible when you can't even score when we have the opportunity and our defense doing so great, as we know this all year. Like they're having, again, another team only held down to like 10 points or fewer last few weeks. So our defense has been keeping us in it. To be honest with you guys, I was just happy to see we actually throwing down the middle now. We actually know there's the middle of the field, and you've seen a Pat Freiermuth sighting in our tight end after coming off an injury the second week back. To see him back to a little bit of his ways previously was good. To be, like you mentioned, the yardage, Shaun, obviously it doesn't really show on the score, but us just getting down, getting yards, getting to the red zone, opening up a little bit more of the offense, and just seeing what we got in Kenny was great to see. Kind of felt like we got robbed. That first was a touchdown. They called it. We shouldn't have challenged that one. I should have been touched. He had 2 feet in the back of the end zone and Deontay Johnson, but it's all good as long as we get the W here. And yeah, again, it's a grinded out win. This is how we're gonna win games, guys. It's not gonna get any prettier, Kev. It's the JV offense. The defense is not JV like you trying to mention at the beginning of the year. Like I mentioned last week, I'm gonna keep mentioning. Sometimes our defense buckles up when the offense looks like complete putrid shit, and you got to keep going out there every couple snaps, 3 and out. So you can hear it. I listen to my guys talk and TJ and all them. And they felt the difference, obviously, of not feeling like they're out there all the time, not feeling like they're going out there so quick. So you go down our numbers, we 8 for 17 on third down this year. I don't even think that's probably the highest we got this year too, even though it's not great. There's so many statistics you can see when you see Najee Harris be a power running back like we want him for all in all. The reason why we drafted him and our combo with Warren in the backfield too. So I just feel like obviously we're. Well, Shaun tried to make fun of me. I say we're Super Bowl contenders, but I started to say don't mention. You said don't mention that. Only reason I said don't mention that is because if Kenny was fixed, if our offense was fixed, all the weapons we have, we should be knocking on the door, because I think no one will argue that our defense is top tier and one of the best defenses in the league, and we have offensive weapons. It's just our quarterback play, our quarterback offensive coordinator as well, like we all mentioned, and just our line has been a little bit iffy here and there as well to, give him some more time. So, hey, man, I know we can go down our schedule, and we still got a couple hard wins, a couple hard games to go into, but I feel like, hey, we're trending the right way, and this is the way we want to be towards the end of the season. Still getting wins, but still feel like we're getting better, as Mike Tomlin said. We're still getting better, and we're still getting wins in that process. So I'm going to take it that way right now for my Steelers. And, yeah, it's 7-4. I'm pretty happy at the moment, guys.
Don't win the division?
Shiz. Look, no, we're not winning the division. We can't win the Ravens, man. The Ravens are Lamar's one. I was so happy. I thought Lamar was gonna get traded out of my division, man. I was so happy, and he ended up staying back. And we still got Joe Burrow to worry about. So that Lamar Jackson. That's all I gotta say is Lamar Jackson. He's gonna win the division.
Just keep that guy. Keep building on that defense, man. Just keep building on that defense. That's been the Steelers' way since forever. Y'all been defensive dominant monsters. I understand the Ben Roethlisberger and the AJ Brown era was nice, and even a little bit of Le'Veon era, but we all know the Steelers are known for what? Defense. So go ahead and keep doing your thing. Y'all hang around, and these Ravens teams that are good right now, and these Bengals teams that are who knows what right now, they're gonna go up and down, and y'all gonna do what you do best and stay consistent. I'm not trying to
give me some more love, man. Kevin John never gave up on my team, man, after betting on them beginning of the year.
I'm not trying to sound like a Steelers fan, but watching the AFC North, it's like the Bengals are a new thing. I mean, take away Joe Burrow, no Jamar Chase. We're talking about the Bengals like they still have I don't know, Carson Palmer, you know what I'm saying? Andy Dalton. The Browns are just now making a scratch in the NFL, and like they're looking bad now because of Deshaun Watson. And the Ravens obviously have made tremendous leaps and bounds with getting Lamar Jackson and trying to build around him. But for the most part, it's been the Steelers, the same way it was with the Patriots over there in the AFC East. Just stick to the main, like Jalen Hurts says, keep the main thing, man. It works for you guys. And that's something that these Niners fans, they can't understand, bro. You got to keep the main thing, and everything will work out. So not trying to jump on the Niners right now, but I'm going to say, man, the Steelers, you guys are finding ways to win, similar in ways that we do. We just look a little bit better, well, a lot better when it comes to offense than you guys. So, but you grinding by. Yeah, you grinding by. Hey, this is hell week it's big week for us, man. So I can't give too much credits to our Niners homies, man. But the Steelers right now, I even picked you guys to lose this week, and I was wrong. I'm like, you know what? They're like us. This is what they're going to do. They're going to find ways to just win these games. They average 16 and a half points a game right now. I believe you guys are averaging. Your opponents are averaging 18 points. That's just who y'all are. I mean, and your record don't lie. This is the point of the season where your record is, this is your identity. This is who you are. There's no more. There hasn't been excuses for who your team is the past 4 weeks, if you were to ask me. This is who you are. And it might get you guys into the playoffs. And when you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. So, I'm going to give the Steelers a little bit of credit right now, a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. You guys are all right.
Well, what do you think is the ultimate end for the Steelers this season, Kaz? Because Kevin picked the Steelers to make the playoffs, I believe, as a wild card. But after the 49ers absolutely smashed the Steelers in week 1, 30-7, don't forget, Gary. But ever since that happened, Kevin hopped off the bandwagon and he was done with the Steelers. And so what do you think about their ultimate outcome?
Ultimately, I do think that they'll be a wild card. I do think they're going to make the playoffs. I think with the Browns losing to Shaun, even though he wasn't playing the best football, just too big of a hit for that Browns team right now. No Nick Chubb, no Deshaun. Myles Garrett can't do it alone. Their defense is going to continue to play well, but they need so much when it comes to that team to be able to hang. And Pittsburgh, they are probably the best. They have the best head coach, I would say, in that division. Tomlin has never had a losing season. Ever. I think he's finished 8-8 back when we had 16 games, but he's never ever had a losing season. That's consistency, and that's a very, very important statistic. But I think they get there, and I would not be surprised if they somehow, some way upset somebody within their division, because it's just the way the AFC is. It's really, really strange. It always is. The outside of the Patriots for all those years, there hasn't really been a true powerhouse that just rolls through the AFC and handles business. We thought the Bills were going to be that. They choke. They can't handle it in the playoffs. We thought the Bengals were going to be that problem after Joe Burrow made that run to Super Bowl, and then it's like, no. I mean, they played the Chiefs last year, lost, and I think rightfully so. There's nothing that the Bengals do in the AFC that make me feel that they're this powerhouse. But what I can say is this: the AFC is really strange. I could see the Steelers getting a win possibly. But that's about as far as it goes if that happens. But I give them a playoff berth for sure.
One final question for you, Kaz, before we toss it to Kevin to hear his thoughts on this game, because all of our listeners know our thoughts on the Steelers and everything around them. But simple question: thoughts on Kenny Pickett?
I'm out. I defended that man crucially beginning of the season. He's not a good quarterback. I think I said in my previous video, and I'm sorry if this rubs you the wrong way, Gary. I don't know your thoughts on Pickett, but
he's 99% out.
Okay. I think I said in my previous prediction video, I said, you got, what's his name? Jake, who's a Bengals quarterback? What's his name?
Jake Browning.
Browning. Yeah, sorry. I was like, this is kind of a good game because neither of these teams really have a quarterback. And I said verbatim, I go, that's right. That's right, Kenny Pickett. I don't know what you are, but you're not an NFL quarterback. And I meant that. He's not the guy. And he's going to waste a lot of, especially these receivers you got now. You got a couple dogs. I think he's going to waste their time if you guys are going to try to keep him under center. You need way more in that offense, and I think it starts with him. Jaylen Warren is nice. He's a great addition for you guys. Najee Harris, you need a bruiser back. I understand he gets a lot of hate, but you know what? Look at Gus Bus in Baltimore right now. It's very, very similar play styles, just different play calling. So if you use Najee Harris the right way and you get Jaylen Warren more involved the correct way, there is a possible good 1-2 punch right there between those two running backs. It is Kenny Pickett. It is 110% Kenny Pickett.
But Cavs, we got rid of Matt Canada and he threw for 275 yards.
Not enough. That's nice. Not enough.
You guys put up 16 points. Congratulations. Against the Cincinnati Joe Burrow-less Bengals, you put up 16 points. Okay, I get it. And Cavs, you try to pull a fast one on me. Let's give it I'm going to give you a list of AFC quarterbacks in the playoff picture, right? I'm going to give you a list. You got Lamar Jackson, okay? MVP, right? Patrick Mahomes. People are calling him the baby goat. I get it. You got Trevor Lawrence, okay? Trevor Lawrence, a lot of people, he's very polarizing. The Niners, gave him a 35 burger a couple weeks ago, but that's neither here nor there. All right. You got Tua Tagovailoa, right? Alabama product. He looks different. Mike McDaniel, new system. And then it starts to kind of dwindle down a little bit. You got PJ Walker. You got Dorian Thompson, whoever's quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. You got Kenny Pickett, right? Kenny, right? Is he? Maybe. Okay. You got Gardner Minshew. Eagles fans know about who that is. Old Gardner Minshew. You got Russell Wilson creeping up on people. You got CJ Stroud, rookie quarterback. A lot of promise, right? A lot of people think he might end up taking that spot. Josh Allen. And you got Jake Browning, Aiden O'Connell, Will Levis.
So what's the overall point?
What I'm trying to say is all of these are you're kind of looking around the AFC like, okay, like who else is there? Like the Steelers can't beat Gardner Minshew. The Steelers can't beat Will Levis. Steelers can't beat DTR and like the AFC is kind of just like it went from being like the gauntlet of quarterbacks to like, all right, you're looking around like the Chiefs and the Ravens and everybody else. I don't think anyone really fears the Jags as much. I feel like the Jags are a pretty decent team, but I don't know if people really trust them in the playoffs. And with this Browns team and how dominant their defense is, they have no idea who their quarterback is and they lost Nick Chubb in literally the first game of the season. So I'm looking around with the Steelers team. Yes, I think they can make the playoffs, but now it's kind of like, yeah, you get into the playoffs, but you're going to run into the Chiefs, you're going to run into the Ravens. Hell, you might even run into the Jags. Can you beat those guys? I don't think so. So, you got rid of Matt Canada. You put up all these yards, but you only put up 16 points. So these yards aren't really yarding up, as people will usually say. So congrats to the Steelers. You guys beat Jake Browning. 7-4. Not trying to shit on your team, Gary, but I'm just pointing out the facts.
Kevin, what say you?
Gary, and this is what I saw in the preseason. This Kenny Pickett is what led me to say you guys will finish 13-4. This preseason, I saw this same stuff working. And it looked great. Like Toddy mentioned, firing Matt Canada, first game with over 400 yards since week 2 of 2020. 59 games for this offense to finally get rolling. And Kaz, I know you don't really understand the back shot behind Shaun asking you about Kenny Pickett. The reason he asked you that is because we, at the beginning of the offseason, after we saw this preseason, we had a factor cap, Kenny Pickett or Daniel Jones. And there was one person who chose Daniel Jones, and it was Shaun. And I don't know how he did it, because this Kenny Pickett, 24 of 33 for 278 yards. Oh, my goodness. This run game, you got Pat Fairmouth coming back 2 games off of IR, 120 yards, 9 receptions. I loved what I saw out of them. Yes, they only put up 16 points, but at the end of the day, a win is a win. The Bengals defense is no joke. Yeah, Joe Burrow might not be there, but this defense is still a good team in the AFC. So they came up and they did what they had to do. The only thing I can't even watch the Steelers is because of Deontay Johnson. When I saw him just walk past that fumble, I wanted to break my TV.
Wait, what happened?
There was a
fumble right in front of his face, basically, bro. He turned his back.
The play before he got missed. So the next play, they're doing a run play, and they fumble, and he's just walking. and the dude probably 2 inches to his right picks up the ball and takes off running, and he's just still walking the opposite direction.
Top one round receivers. What can you do, Kev? What can you do? Real quick, Shaun, before we move on. Hey, Kev, you might not be wrong with 13 wins. I'm looking down the schedule, guys. Don't lie. We can actually go on a 5-game win streak right here. I'm not going cap, man. The schedule is on our side, guys. We got Arizona, all right, with Kyler Murray barely coming back. I don't know why Shaun left. Hopefully Shaun didn't leave because he's thinking that I'm wrong, because it's actually real truth right here. We got New England.
You're wrong.
New England, we can win 5 straight, Shaun. We can win 5 straight. We got Cincinnati, Arizona, New England, Colts, and the Bengals again. Come on, y'all. We got a chance for 5 straight. We might get 13 wins, Kev. We might.
Hey, bro.
You never know.
I wanted to touch base on something real quick that I talked about. I think it was Jaevon. You mentioned,
Shaun's betting against us.
The AFC quarterbacks, and and the reason why I have the Pittsburgh winning possibly a playoff game is only because I look back at Lamar Jackson's MVP year, 14-2 Baltimore Ravens getting absolutely handled by the 9-7 Tennessee Titans. They had like 3 weeks off of rest. They were sitting since like week whatever, and
because they sat their players out.
Yep, they sat their players for, and that's an excuse if you were asking me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does factor in, but you're the 14-2 Baltimore Ravens. And again, going against the 9-7, just tripped and stumbled into the playoffs, Tennessee Titans, and you lose 28-12. That's what I see when it comes to the AFC. It's like it's always something weird like that. It's like, why, even the Bengals when they won on the run, not one person, maybe you guys, I mean, I didn't know you guys at the time, but nobody was saying that, oh, this Joe Burrow Bengals team is going to roll through the AFC. No, they were talking about Josh Allen. They were talking about Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, I mean, that they didn't, it was like, oh, it's nice that he's there, but this ain't a team that's going to make it to the Super Bowl. So I just know that the AFC, it just has a lot of strange stuff that happens in the playoffs, and the NFC, I would say, is a tad bit more consistent with who the real top dogs are each year. Outcome may not be the same, but it is, like for instance, like San Fran, you guys are always there. I mean, you guys were there with Jimmy G. You know what I mean? What I'm saying? Like there's just a little bit more consistency. Philadelphia, even though we won in 2017, after that we were there 2018. We somehow got there 2019. I mean, playoffs. The same guys are always usually there in the mix. The Dallas Cowboys are always right there, 5 seed, 6 seed. Somewhere it's the same thing with the NFC almost every time. AFC is really strange. It's really weird. And so when I was saying that the Steelers could win possibly in an AFC game, no confidence there. I just know weird things happen, because if they do end up winning that game, like I said, they're going to get smothered the next game. So hopefully I'm wrong for your sake, Jerry. Gary, I don't really care who comes out of the AFC, especially if Philadelphia is going to be in the Super Bowl. I'm not scared of nobody in the AFC, but
you should be, but the Chiefs fan.
If Pittsburgh somehow makes it all the way by the grace of God, man, we'll have this conversation.
Pittsburgh makes all the way. I'm gonna make Shaun.
What happened last year? AJ Brown's pointing at you like, I lost you.
Don't let Juju come out there.
You see him pull the towel out and start beating the goalpost.
Man, yeah, we did the Steelers dirty.
I hate y'all.
Well, Kevin, I know that you got to get going soon, but